Okay, so good evening and welcome to our Team Fresh and Fit call for February 11th, 2016. I see some new faces on, so hey, I'm Miranda and you're on our team call, so welcome. We have so much crazy growth going on right now. Every time I log into my coach online office, it's like 27 new coaches in your organization, 32 new coaches, and I'm like, wow, what is going on? This is amazing. And I'm super, super, super excited about our call tonight because I hand-selected 4 girls to share with us their best tips and practices because I've been noticing over the past couple of months these same names keep popping up as bringing new people onto our team, rank advancing, creating massive volume, and also just seeing them really stand out on social media. So I messaged them a couple weeks ago and said, hey, you guys need to speak on my team call. You're doing something that has caught my eye and I like it. And I think the rest of our team needs to hear from you to figure out what you're doing and find out some things that may help everybody press forward and move along further on your goals. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Let me grab my notes. This has been absolute craziest couple of weeks for me. So it makes me feel good to sit down with you guys and just talk and see your faces and be able to connect with you. This is my happy place. These calls used to stress me out. I would get so sweaty and like self-conscious and all this pressure. And then I realized, you know what? We're all just a bunch of moms, most of us moms with kids and crazy lives. And so for the girls that are speaking tonight, don't be nervous. It's just a bunch of moms. We're all crazy and wild and living the chaotic life. And to get on here and connect with each other is a blessing and a chance for us to kind of go, people that are in it with me, that get me. And so that's what this is. So if this is your first time, welcome. This is what we do. We just kind of get on and connect and share ideas to help each other out. I want to offer some congratulations to some people that are in my new coach boot camp. These girls are killing it. I'm doing a brand new training protocol with completely reformatted focus on what we're doing and training, and these girls are amazing. Let me just share with you some of the things that are going on in that new coach boot camp. Katie Carter, her sponsor coach is Elizabeth Harrington, and this week Katie hit Emerald, and she has Success Club 8 in 1 week. 1 week. She's been working her business. 1 week. She hit Emerald rank. She actually has 3 new coaches, and she's got Success Club 8. So major props to Katie Carter. You're a rock star. You're amazing. Her energy's crazy. You guys have to follow her on Facebook. She's so much fun. And she works full-time and has kids. So go follow Katie Carter. She's awesome. Tamara Upchurch, I saw today, she just signed her 2nd coach today, which will make her Emerald next Thursday. So awesome job there. And she's at Success Club 4 today after 1 week in my training. About a week and a half now, I guess. And then Amy Zientek, brand new coach. She has a crazy work life. She travels a lot. She's always flying to all these different places. She got her first challenge pack person started and working on their fitness journey. So she's got 2 Success Club points. And finally calling out Jessica Reed, whose upline sponsor is Cindy Hooks, who's no longer working the business. So Jessica's kind of had to find her way and figure this thing out, and she's back in action with Success Club 4 and a new coach. This is tremendous. So if you haven't been in one of our team trainings yet, or maybe you're even catching this call as a recording later on and you're in the training group but you're not engaging, please understand that the activities and assignments that we provide you guys with are there for a reason, and they work. Follow the system. Trust the system, and understand that the success of these girls that I just called out, success leaves clues. And what are the clues? These 4 girls that I gave a shout out to are doing what I'm telling them to do. It's just that simple, and they're seeing success. So dig into some good training from our team. If for some reason your sponsor coach isn't there yet and they're not offering training, it's not because they suck. They're probably just still kind of new also. So reach out to your upline diamond or star diamond and let them know, I want to learn, and they will be more than happy to help you. A few announcements real quick. Remember, later this month, February 20th, in my town where I live in Quitman, Texas, I'm hosting a all-day, face-to-face training called One Body, One Life. And we're going to get together from 9 o'clock in the morning until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we're going to go over social media. We're going to go over branding yourself. We're going to talk about tracking your business, the 3 vital behaviors, what you should be doing every single day to build this business. We're going to laugh. We're going to eat lunch. We're going to have a workout. I have a coach friend of mine who's in the Millionaire Club with Beachbody, super successful. Her name's Jackie Bull from Longview. She's going to come over and speak to us and also lead us in a workout. So it's going to be an awesome event. If you can get there, please come. It will be worth your while. I'm going to bring my own notebook that I use, my big 3-ring binder that I use for my business, and you guys can look through it and see what a hot mess, disorganized, chaotic person I am. And if I can hit 5-star diamond and be elite and build a substantial income with this business, being the crazy mess that I am, you can too. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to have that there for you guys to be able to look through. And you can take pictures of it, you can take notes, or you can say, that's not going to work for me. I'm going to do something different. But all of that will be available for you February 20th in Quitman at my church. It's going to be great, especially for people who really need that face-to-face connection. You know, a lot of you are fine to be independent workers. You put your head down and you just go, and that's fine. I'm kind of that way sometimes. But every now and then it's great to just get together with your team and connect and have fun and learn. What else? Dallas just announced Super Sunday, April 3rd from 1 to 5 at the Embassy Suites in Frisco. And they haven't announced the speaker or the workout yet, but everything about the picture that was in the email is about hardcore. And hashtag Get Some, which is Tony Horton's new workout program that's coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something to do with that, with the speaker and the workout. So be sure and register for that if you're local to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And if you're not, drive in or find an event near you. What else? Okay, one more announcement. My Diamond Retreat, I changed the rules a little bit, the qualifications and requirements for my Diamond Retreat. If you're my personally sponsored coach, please take note of the cover picture in the Team Fresh and Fit page that's just for my coaches, not the family page, just the one that's for my coaches. Pay attention to the cover picture and the rules and requirements to qualify to go to my Diamond Retreat. It's April 8th through 10th. There is a chance for you to bring a guest Diamond coach from your own downline. So be sure and let your team know that they can try to qualify to come with you to my Diamond Retreat. I'll have a professional photographer there, just like last year, to do headshots of everyone, cool fitness pictures. We'll have lots of fun doing team pictures together. I can't tell you how many times I've used the pictures from last year's retreats. It was an amazing, useful tool for a lot of us, and it was fun. We're going to go shopping in downtown Granbury. We'll stay at my family lake house. We're even going to go on a ghost tour downtown. Hood County Courthouse is supposed to be the most haunted place in Texas. It's really fun. We're going to have a great time and just hang out together. So make sure you're up to speed on how to get there, how to qualify. And one of the highlights of my experience as a coach was last year's Diamond Retreat. Just wave at me if you were there and if it was awesome for you too. Yeah, it was incredible. So many things we still laugh about when we get together, like me doing a burpee in a dress. Yes, I did that. We had so much fun. It was great. Okay, I want to read you guys something before we kick off our panel of speakers tonight that I saw on Facebook from a fellow coach named Michelle Myers, who's super crazy successful. And she posted this in a Facebook group I'm in called The Wall that you get added to once you're 5-star or higher. Let me find her post right quick. I really want to read this to you guys. It was so aha. And it really ties in with the reason I chose these speakers for tonight's call. Okay, I want you to listen to this. You will never grow beyond the sacrifice you aren't willing to make. I'm going to repeat that. You will never grow beyond the sacrifice you aren't willing to make. Behind every success is a sacrifice. There was a season in the beginning of the building years of Michelle's business where she and her husband prioritized her getting the tools that she needed. So when her laptop died, her husband invested in a MacBook for her. She said that they felt like they both needed to be drinking Shakeology, and they bought 2 bags a month and even samples monthly, and they really didn't have the money up front to do those things. But because they invested in the right areas and got her the tools she needed to be successful, she had to make a commitment to her business to make that money back. And it pushed her to pay herself back for those sacrifices that she and her husband were making to grow this business. And so she applauds her husband in this because he really supported her. And I know some of us have had some struggles with spouses not understanding, and there's things we can do to rectify that. But this is Michelle's story. She said because she and her husband chose to sacrifice some of their wants to put some support into her business, that went beyond words and intentions. She said, I had the right tools to build a business. And looking back now, 6 years later, that sacrifice that felt so huge at the time was actually extremely short term, because those sacrifices that they made propelled her and built momentum faster than if she hadn't made them. So if you've held back from investing in your business and you say you want this, you have a real evaluation to ask. Are you willing to sacrifice to make it happen? Because if you won't, you will never grow beyond whatever sacrifice you weren't willing to make. Let me repeat that last sentence. If you won't sacrifice to make it happen, you will never grow your business beyond whatever sacrifice you weren't willing to make. Short-term sacrifice equals long-term gain. Hugely powerful aha right there. It took me a long time to make the sacrifices necessary to grow my business. And that's what really stood out to me about the ladies I asked to speak tonight. I see them making sacrifices in putting their own hesitation and fear aside for the greater good of the women out there that they're trying to help. They're sacrificing their own issues, their own insecurities, their own past failures. They're putting that on the chopping block, and they are blazing forward in the name of something greater. They're sacrificing time, other things that are pulling for their attention from other places in their lives, and they're going full force ahead with their goals. So without further ado, I want to offer to you tonight some awesome girls. We're going to start with Kayla Doss, then we'll go to Nicole Wilson, followed by Katie McGilvray, and then Crystal Gaither will wrap us up. You're going to hear so many amazing things from these girls that I hope you have pencil and paper out. I know I do. I'm going to be taking notes because I always learn something from someone else. I don't care where you are in this business. There's always something more to learn. Don't for 1 second think that I have it all figured out. If I did, I'd be 15-star diamond 5, which no one is yet. So no one's figured that out. All right. So Kayla, we're going to kick off with you and just start off and tell us when you became a coach. And so there's the day that you become a coach, and then there's the day you decide to go all in. So tell us about those 2 different moments for you, and then dive into your topic for tonight.
I have been a coach for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in June. And I was at my wit's end. I was like 215 pounds, and Jennifer Allen kept begging me about this whole Beachbody thing. And I decided, you know what? Number one, I'm tired. So I'm just going to say, okay, what the hell? And I had also gotten suckered into T25 at the gym, and I thought that was going to kill me, and it didn't. So I decided I was having a pretty good streak of luck there. So I went ahead and signed, and my goal was to get my T25 and my Shakeology, and then to get the PIO, and then cancel my account. I was not going to talk to anybody about this. I was not going to let anybody know what I was doing. I had zero desire to work a business. And then it was about 3 weeks into it, I had lost about 6 pounds and around 8 or 9 inches. And I was blown away. First of all, I couldn't get my lips further than like an arm's length from a can of Coca-Cola or like a fried chicken wing. I was obsessed with fried food, Cokes, everything that you weren't supposed to have. It was all I was eating. And with Shakeology and T25, I felt good. And I could not believe for the life of me that it took me 27 years to figure out the trick. And it was all something I learned in 3 freaking weeks. I mean, I had to like scream it from the rooftops because it should really be a crime to not know about what we're doing. So I just dove in head first and decided, you know, I'm proof. If I can do this, God, anybody can. So that was how I got started.
Awesome. Awesome. So you had an aha moment really fast, and you felt like, how could I not share this with everybody? And so for the next, 8-10 months, you just went crazy?
Yep. I did it all. Like, I remember the day that I decided that I was going to really dive in head first. I got on YouTube and I YouTubed everything about Beachbody coaching. I watched a bunch of, now I know who those coaches are, but that day I didn't know who anybody was. I fell in love with Coach Caleb. He made me laugh and I could relate to his struggles. I took crazy amounts of notes. I dug my heels in because I knew that this was something bigger than I had ever imagined that it could have been. Relatively quick, I hit Emerald, and then Diamond was right around the corner. I lost Diamond for a little while, and then I've just recently got it back. I was bummed when I lost Diamond, but I quickly realized that when I had hit Diamond the first time, I wasn't implementing things. I wasn't being the leader that I needed to be. And it was a hard look in the mirror, like a good long 4-month look in the mirror. And I just sat down. I've spoke with Miranda quite a bit, and I've just realized that, you know, I can do whatever I want to with my business, and I'm going to make it work for me and my coaches. If something doesn't work, we're going to retry it in a different way and make it work. And so that's kind of what I've done, that I've noticed some extreme growth in my team. I watched a video by Heather Dixon, and she talked about the power hours, and she's a numbers person, which I never thought I was, but I quickly realized about 15 minutes into that call, that's all I needed was some numbers. And on her call, she talked about the way the power hours were designed. You guys know the power hours, you know, where you start 5 new conversations, you do 30 minutes of personal development, or you know how that goes. I never really felt like personal development should be on a power hour. I think personal development is something you can do when you're in the shower. I've done that. It's something you can do when you're in the bathtub. I've done that. It's something you can do in the car picking up your kids. I've done that too. And I've also listened to it while I'm going through Walmart. I've listened to it while I'm driving through town. That's something that you can't force people to do, and people aren't going to get the full effect of it until they dive in the first time. So to me, it was just pointless to have it on there. So I listened to Heather Dixon's call, and she gave numbers, a rough estimate. If you contact so many people a day, every day for a year, you can make this amount every single week by December, for a full year. And so I sat down there and I wrote down all these numbers. It took me like an hour because she went through it pretty fast. So I sat down and I constructed power hours. I don't have those numbers here with me, but I do know that, oh yeah, here I do. For instance, for $300 a week, it was 4 business invites, 16 follow-ups, and 8 ongoing conversations, and 1 one-on-one one-on-one call. And so I broke it down into brackets, and I asked my team, you know, what number do you need to make a difference in your life? What number do you need to see pop up in your checking account every week for you to push harder and feel like your efforts are being validated? They all give me a number, and most of them said 150. Well, I said, no, you're going to go 250. The work isn't that much different, and I know you can do it. So I wrote down power hours for the 250 mark, for the 300 mark, for the 500 mark, and for the 1,000 and 2,000. And each week, our team, we set it up where you do 4 power hours a week. That leaves you 3 days left to focus on your posting. It leaves you 3 extra days to spend some time with your family. It leaves a lot of time open. But the number of people that we're reaching in those 4 days are exceeding the $250 amount. It is showing them that by doing each of these steps, it's like checking it off. You feel better every time you get to check something off. And our growth is just really going through the roof. I have brand new coaches who have very little follow-ups, who have very little people that they've spoke to about this, that are able to do these power hours. And it doesn't even take them an hour, but they're reaching more and more people every single day. And that has been the most successful thing that I think that we have done yet. And we also do check-ins. During the middle of the week, I'll ask how many power hours, or I will post a picture of my power hour and ask, who all is doing theirs today. They tell me if they have or they haven't, or if they did one the day before or if they hadn't. And then at the end of the week, they kind of tally them up and see how many they've done. And pretty much every single week since we've implemented this, people are hitting 4 power hours a week. And the other thing that I think has made my team so successful here recently is that we've been running all of our paid challenge groups together. I don't run a challenge group by myself unless it's a free 5-day clean eating thing. But as long as it is a paid challenge group, like a 30-day or 21-day, we do it together. There's easily 8 to 10 of us active every single day in those groups. And every person who posts or has a problem or is struggling, there are so many people there with the knowledge to help them along that no one gets left behind. And plus, as a lot of us being coaches in there, it keeps the momentum up. It keeps everybody moving forward and doing their workouts, and it keeps the page active. And so that, has been a game changer too.
Awesome. Can I ask you a couple questions right quick?
Sure.
I know you probably have a couple more things to share, but I want you to be brutally honest with everybody that's on, because everybody's going to face this point at some time or another. But tell us a little bit about where you were about, 4 to 6 months ago with mindset and your team, and what has changed for you in the last month compared to where you were a few months ago. And tell us what has changed and how you changed it.
I was at the point where I was I remember we were on a job in West Virginia, and I remember sitting outside my little RV, and I wanted to just beat my head into the side of my trailer. I wanted to scream and yell. I was so aggravated. I was stuck. And I thought, what the hell am I doing? Am I really helping anybody? Or am I just stressing myself out and spending a bunch of unnecessary money in something that's never going to pay off for me? I blamed my team. I blamed my upline. I blamed God himself for putting me in this predicament and allowing myself to believe in this dream that I had. And there was a couple things that changed my mindset. First, I'd gotten a message from somebody, and they're like, hey, I seen your post, and I wanted to let you know that I got up and I went for a mile walk. And I'm like, wow, okay, so apparently I am doing something for someone. And then I read or I seen someone said, I don't remember, but it was basically you can't blame anybody. This is on you. This is your business. This is you. If you don't make it, it's your fault. And I believe it was probably Jessica Hinkle.
Probably. That sounds like her.
I was sitting there. I remember actually like whining to her about how bad everything just sucked. And she was like, I mean, she jerked a knot in my tail faster than anything. And I wrote that down and I stared at it. And I'm like, that's it. Like, this is all on me. I have to do something. I have to create something. I have to be something more than what I am. And seeing everyone else struggle around me, but coming out of it, I knew that there was a chance that I would make it, that I could get out of the funk I was in. And then I had spoke to you, and you had said something along the lines of, you've got to be the team you want. You've got to be the coach you needed. You've got to do this for yourself. And I sat down and I thought about everything that I wanted. I wanted a family atmosphere. I wanted close, true friends. I wanted an open, honest relationship with everybody. And I wanted an undeniable, unbreakable support system. And I created it. And I just almost get into tears every time I think about my team, because I have created everything that I dreamed of. And we're not anything big yet. We're just a bunch of average women, working this business, starting out. And I totally feel like I couldn't be any luckier. But you do truly have to put out what you want. I don't know how it happens. And I don't know what that thing was that I did differently, but I think it was just my mindset. I just made my mind up.
Yep, I was about to give you that word. You had a mindset shift. Absolutely. I mean, I've watched it happen, because you went from this isn't working and I have all these things out here to blame, like you said, these excuses, and we've all been in that place. I have to pull myself out of that sometimes. Like, this last couple of weeks have just been horrible, and I've been sitting there feeling sorry for myself. We all get in that place. But did you hear what Kayla shared with us, y'all? She heard Jessica Heckle, who's my cousin, speak truth into her, who's a coach on our team, and then she talked with me on the phone. I know she and Jennifer Allen have been in contact with each other as well several times in the last few months, trying to sort out, are we running this team together? Do I need to branch off and kind of run my own team? What is going, how do I need to take where I've been and determine where I'm going? And I didn't hear you say anything, Kayla, with more ease than you described the team that you wanted to create. Those words just flowed right out of you so quickly and passionately and eloquently that you didn't even look at notes. That came from your heart. And that is what has changed things for you. So you got your diamond back last Thursday. And I saw today you're at Success Club 8 already for February. You've got other coaches on your team rank advancing and recruiting and acquiring Success Club points. And I see in your team page that you're creating culture through, different hashtags. You're making T-shirts. You're putting logos on everything, and your girls are excited. They're super excited. They're unified with you. So I wanted everybody on the call tonight to get to hear that Kayla faced some serious struggles. She had serious doubt. She was looking for somebody to blame. She got stuck. She got frustrated, and yet she knew deep down in her heart that there was a reason why she was here, and all she had to do was get crystal clear on her vision of the team she wanted to create, and now it's happening really fast. Once you make that mindset shift, things start happening really, really quickly. Your actions align with that vision, and boom. Diamond is back, Success Club points out the wazoo, team culture, team connection, unified effort, and it's been incredible to watch. I also have noticed that you've been using the power of recognition, giving a lot of shout outs, praising your coaches, commending them for their hard work, and that's incredibly powerful as well. So thank you for sharing. Is there anything else that you wanted to add on before we move on to Nicole?
Yeah, I do. I always heard everybody talk about getting specific with your vision, getting specific with your goals. And I was always the one to say, oh, I'd like to hit 2-star. I would like to hit diamond. I'd like to make $10,000, I think, that kind of thing. And I never could understand why I could not get specific. And I think that was what held me back from knocking my business out of the park a long time ago. So for anybody who is maybe in that spot that I was 4 to 6 months ago, or you have a fear that you may hit that spot where you're not really sure what to do with your team or how to build the team that you desire to have, think about it, take all the business out of it, put it down as if you had to move into a house with 500 women. What qualities do you want them to have? What do you want to feel when you walk into your home every single night? Because that's what I did. I just thought about all the people that I want to be with and the kinds of people that I like to be with and what I want us all to feel. And if I want everybody to feel loved, whatever it is, I have to project that. So if you think that you might be struggling, go back to the basics and just think about it very simply, because I could not do that for the longest time.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I'm such a visual person. You just gave me this beautiful mental picture of getting to live in a house with all of you. 500 of us together. Oh my gosh, let's do it. Let's so do that.
I agree.
That's the cool thing about this business, you guys. I freaking love that. I don't have a boss and I get to pick who my coworkers are. Who gets to do that? Have you ever, raise your hand if you've ever worked in a job where you absolutely could not stand one of the people you had to work with? Raise your hand. Everybody should have their hand up. Have you ever been in a family, maybe your in-laws, where you had to be forced to be with people that you don't like, right? That happens too much in life. But in this business, we get to not only determine who we draw into our inner circle by just being ourselves and naturally attracting people who share our values, our passion, our personality. We get to decide what we project and who we draw in. I mean, that's the beautiful thing. So if you're a touchy-feely, have fun kind of person like Kayla, definitely draw a picture of a house and start writing qualities of the women that you want to move in with you and hang out like a sorority house. If that's your personality type and you want everybody to feel loved and connected and laugh and have fun and be silly together and have this be just like a huge giant slumber party, then do what Kayla's doing, because it'll work for you because it's worked for her. Okay? Now, to the numbers people who like black and white analytics, don't freak out. There's a way for you to do this business too. This is Kayla's way. Okay? If you've done the color code personality test, she's a yellow and a blue, right, Kayla? Yellow first and then blue? Yeah. So everybody's different, but this is working really well for her. So if Kayla's advice struck a chord with you, go apply it and do it. Okay? All right. Thank you, Kayla, so much. You're amazing. And I know that I just can't wait to see what your team does next, because you guys are killing it. It's awesome. For sure. Okay. We are going to go to my girl. My girl, Nicole. All right. This is Nicole, everybody. Nicole's been a coach for quite a while. I'm going to let her tell her story because it's awesome. So, Nicole, just kind of tell everybody how you became a coach and then dive into kind of your decision in the past few months to actually start working it hardcore consistent.
Well, I'd always struggled with weight since I started having kids. I'm on number 5 now, so I'm becoming an expert at this. And I think Miranda had been contacting me because she'd been seeing me on Facebook and working out at work with all my coworkers. And she was like, "Oh, you should do Insanity." This is when Insanity first came out, so this is a pretty long time ago. And I was like, yeah, okay. Well, I just went and I bought the Insanity DVD. And I remember this because, now I'm like, she probably was really pissed off because I didn't even buy it through her because I was just so dead set. I didn't need a coach. I didn't need anyone to tell me what to do. So, but we would all get to work and we would do it at work. And I would dabble in the 10-day challenge group she would do with the Shakeology, and I'd be like, I don't need that crap. I can just eat whatever I want to. and just make sure I do plenty of cardio. And but I was still very depressed and still had some weight to lose. And it was when I was 6 months pregnant and my work laid me off that Miranda was like, listen, I know that we've gone back and forth about this coaching, but you're already, inspiring people to work out on Facebook, and, you encourage people to work out at work. And I think you would be a great coach. Why not make some money doing this? And for, your passion. So I was like, okay, so here I am, 6 months pregnant. I'm the moneymaker in my family at this point. So, and I'm jobless, so we're not bringing in any income. And all I did was I paid just to become a coach. And I tried to start working it. And once I finally got a job, I was like 7 months pregnant when I finally got a job. And I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And I got my Shakeology on HD and started trying to bring people in. I had Max in March, and I went and got certified in May, I think it was, to be an insanity instructor. And I was all gung-ho about it, and I got coaches under me, and then they all started dropping off like flies. And I was like, all right, whatever. I never dropped my HD, my Shakeology. I loved it, and I still worked out. And it wasn't until I was working in Tyler and working for another company, and my son Max got really sick. He had an infection in his L4, L5 vertebrae, and he'd been misdiagnosed, and also felt guilty for taking off work to go take him. So I think, and it was when I realized when we got admitted to Children's and we're there for 4 days, and he was on antibiotics for 2 months, and we just now finished his follow-up appointments, and this all happened in October. I think I felt really guilty because I did not take off work because I was scared I was going to lose my job to go take him to the doctor. So, and some other things, they were misdiagnosing him anyway. So I just was listening to the doctor, and I thought he had cancer. It was a pretty bad time. And it wasn't until I was laying in bed and I was just like, and my other kids were getting sick, and I was like, oh my gosh, and they're just like the flu and stuff, but still I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my job because I got to call in. And I was like, why do I feel guilty for having to take care of my children? So that was when I made the decision I was going to get serious, and that my kids need me, and I'm not going to let anyone else determine me taking care of my family. So that was how I decided to get serious.
That makes me cry.
I'm trying not to cry, so I don't show emotion.
I'm so sorry. It's been a long week, but that makes me cry because this gives people hope, y'all. There's another mom like Nicole out there probably going to bed right now with the same worries and concerns about having to call in and take off work because one of her kids is sick, and struggling with the guilt over, why would I worry about my boss when this is my child? And we know there's moms out there that feel torn like that. And just the fact that when Nicole felt that, she knew where to turn to fix it. She had something already in her lap that she just had to start acting on to get out of that situation. And, like Kayla said earlier, it's wrong to not share this with people. So don't ever, ever feel bad about recruiting or trying to bring on a new coach to our team or share this with them, because you never know what they're laying in bed at night thinking about that you can solve for them just by inviting them. So go ahead, Nicole. So what changed for you from that moment until today? Because you've been a coach since 2013, November of 2013, right?
Yeah.
I remember it was like maybe a month or 6 weeks before Christmas that year. Mm-hmm. So what changed for you in November of 2015, 2 years after you became a coach? What did you start doing differently to start creating momentum again? You hit Success Club in January. You're recruiting like crazy. You've got awesome social media going on. What did you start doing differently?
I think I realized the value in what I was doing for people. And I stopped worrying about the money. so much. And I just started focusing on actually helping people and encouraging them, and everything else follows, because it's just like in anything, if you're at it for the right reason and you honestly and deeply truly care for what you're doing, success is going to come with it. I mean, I work in hospice, and everybody's like, oh, that's such a hard market, there's so many hospice companies, how are you going to compete? And to me, it's not a competition. These are people, and people's lives that we're talking about. And it's just the same way with Beachbody. There's so many people that get so in a deep depression about, how they are overweight, and maybe they're not even overweight, but the personal development of it and actually working out and getting those endorphins going. And because there are a lot of people who don't have fitness, I guess success stories, kind of like Danielle and Tony. And, even one of my coaches, she's, never really struggled with her weight, but it's the exercise and the personal development that keep them going. And it's the positive attitude, and that those things matter too. It's not always this, oh, I lost 100 pounds, with Beachbody. It's also a mind shift thing for them too, to become a better person. So
Absolutely. So one thing I notice about you that really stands out to me is how real and raw and honest you are on social media. And I know that's not always been easy for you to just lay it all out there, even though you come across as a blunt person. When it comes down to getting deep about yourself and sharing your truth and your story, sometimes there's been that hesitation there for you. So how did you push past that, and what has been the effect of how you're connecting with people now that you've been sharing your story more publicly?
I guess I just got to the point where I didn't care, and I knew people needed to hear my side of it, and they needed to hear kind of like what we were just hearing on that call. I think I dabbled in trying to follow other coaches and what other coaches were doing, and then I realized, I was like, well, I don't really relate to them. I've had a hard life, and I mean, I had an extremely hard life, but I had a hard childhood, and it's even shocking that I'm the person I am today, and the things that I've gone through just as an adult. And I think that people relate to that, and there's a different, I guess, group of people that I attract, and it's hard because I do have family on my social media, and it's hard to talk about what I came from without offending them, but I think in the end, they're proud, of who I've become. So always put yourself out there, and either they're going to appreciate it or they're not. And so.
Yep. So have you found that recruiting new coaches to your team and getting people into your challenge groups where you can really help them make changes, has that been easier since you got out of your own way and stopped trying to emulate other coaches, or stopped trying to focus on how badly you wanted to create income and just started telling your story? Has that been easier?
I think so, because I think before I was tiptoeing around it, trying not to hurt people's feelings. And it's not like I'm like deliberately going out and trying to hurt people's feelings, but sometimes they just need to hear it like bluntly. Yeah. Hey, quit being lazy, get off your ass, let's do this. And I've even said, hey, you know what? It's not a good time for you. When it is, let me know. And next thing you know, they're calling me and they're like, well, no, I really do need you. And it's just, it's being brutally honest with them and just saying, my time's valuable and I'd love to help you, but you're obviously not ready for it. So come back when you are. And so, and I think just being honest with them has really kind of helped me invite them. So, and sometimes you lose them because they don't want to hear it, but sometimes they come back. So.
Absolutely. Yep. And if people are drawn to follow you on social media, they already know that about you. And that's why they message you and say, I want you to help me. Or they message you and ask the question because they know coming to you what they're going to get. So the people that want the cold, hard truth and, hey, get off your butt, let's go, that's what they want to hear, even if they resisted at first. So you have to own who you are, own your story, own your message. And it's been fun watching you do that because I think you're amazing. And now everybody else gets a chance to know that too, for sure. That's awesome. Any final words of wisdom to pass on to somebody else who is just getting started with all this?
It's easy to get overwhelmed because you're so excited and you want to be successful and you want to help people, and you want to have those great success stories of helping someone lose weight and get healthy and change their mindset. And it's easy to get overwhelmed because you're doing Team Cup and you're doing the new coach training and you're listening to this person talk about how to build it and listening to this person about where to put your coaches at in the legs and the downline, and just try to organize yourself. And I think that's why it's taken me so long to finally get back to this point, is because I got so overwhelmed, and I'm just the type of person, I'll just walk away. I don't even care. I'll just be like, whatever, see you later, deuce, and so I've gotten better at organizing myself and just focusing and turning off my notifications on Facebook and making like a couple times out of the day to check the different groups. And if I need to respond to that, then I'll respond to it. And if I don't, I don't. And using social media like to schedule stuff. So just try not to get overwhelmed, because I think that's why I dropped out for a lot of my time. So
absolutely. I think that's something so many coaches are like nodding. I see them, their faces, they're nodding like they can relate to being overwhelmed. Before we move on to Katie, I just want everybody on the call to know that Nicole works full time. She commutes an hour to work one way every single day. She currently has 4 boys and is expecting baby number 5 little girl. And she's working out like a mad woman, posting on social media, growing her business while she's juggling all of that. So if you think you don't have any time to work this business, just follow Nicole and you'll have no more excuses, because she's making it happen. So just had to throw that out there. Okay. Thanks, girl, for sharing. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Let's go to Katie. It's like playing treasure hunt, trying to find faces. Oh, there you are.
Hello.
There's Katie. All right, girl. Hi. I am so excited for you to share with us because I love what you're doing. Tell us when you became a coach and a little bit about how you've created following on social media and kind of some of the things that you've been doing lately to create momentum for your business.
Well, my hands are really sweaty right now. I don't know why I'm so nervous to talk on this call, because I leave calls every week, but I'm like super sweaty. And I apologize if you hear a screaming toddler. My husband left today, and so I'm playing single mom, and it's anything I can do to entertain her right now.
Totally fine. It's all good here.
What I'm doing on social media, my gosh. Well, I became a coach in the very last week in July last year. Jennifer Allen and I, our husbands were working in the same job, and I just happened to meet her. We were walking Reese around in her stroller at the RV park, and we just stopped by to say hi, and she was like, "Hey." I was like, "Hi," and she just started telling me about Beachbody, and I was like, "Well, I have the 21-day fix," and she's like, "You're kidding me," and I was like, "No, I haven't really done it though. I mean, I've kind of been doing it." And she was like, "Well, you should come do a boot camp with us. There's a couple other pipeline wives and we're going to do it together." And I was like, "All right, whatever." And my thing is, if I work out with someone, I'm going to go harder than they do, because I'm a competitor through and through. I played college volleyball, and it's just like ingrained in me. So we did, I don't even know what we did. I think we did Insanity Max 30, maybe, like one of the workouts. And then we did like the size preview, and I was dying. But I refused to give up. And she was like, after the first workout, she's like, "I cannot believe that." She's like, I think Reese was like 6 months old. She's like, "You have a baby and you're doing this with your baby," because, a lot of the times, like, I just have to carry her around with me and make it happen. And she goes, "I can't freaking believe that. Like, you need to be a coach." And I was like, who wants to follow someone who's an overweight, like, new mom? Like, no one cares about that. And I was just very down on myself because I still hadn't lost, I'd maybe lost 5 pounds of baby weight. And I just, I say that Beachbody saved my life, because I know it saved my marriage, because I was just in a very dark place. No one tells you after you have a baby what to expect. No one told me beforehand what to expect. And I am like, Reese is a miracle, because I have endometriosis, and at 19 I was diagnosed with the worst case of endometriosis my OB had seen in probably 40 years. And I was told at 19 that I would never carry a baby to full term if I got pregnant. And then, 7 months after we got married, I got pregnant, and I spent my entire pregnancy waiting for that moment where I was going to go in and they were going to say, there's no heartbeat. And I prepared myself for that so hard that the day she was born, no emotion. I never connected with her. And we get home, and this is a lot more than you asked for, but just a little bit of why.
Keep going.
This saved me. But we get home, and Zach had to go back to work 2 weeks after we got home from the hospital with her. And I just remember calling him one day, and I had been laying in bed. I was trying to breastfeed, but she couldn't latch, and I had an oversupply. It was just a mess. But I just called him one day, and this is it was almost like an out-of-body experience. And I told him, he could hear Reese crying in the background. And he said, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was like, "Why are you not concerned about the fact that she's crying?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he goes, "Katie, are you kidding me?" He's like, "How long has she been crying?" I said, "Probably an hour and a half." And he goes, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "I don't know. I can't figure out what is wrong with me." And so my mom and his mom came over, and it was just a roller coaster. But I got on medication, and shortly after I'd been diagnosed, a friend from high school called me, and she was like, "Girl, I saw that, you've kind of been going through a lot." She was like, "I think that working out would benefit you." And I was like, I live at home. I can't leave. I have a newborn. And she was like, "No. The 21-day fix, I promise, 21-day fix Shakeology will change your life." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." And I told Zach about it, and he was like, "Absolutely not. Absolutely not." And I was like, "Why?" I was like, "I could lose weight." And he goes, "You're really going to do it?" And I was like, "Oh, challenge accepted." So I put it on a credit card, and I bought it, and it sat in a box for 4 months, not going to lie. I didn't touch it. I never touched I tried Shakeology, but because I was breastfeeding, Reese was sensitive to it. And when I met Jennifer, I had kind of been doing the nutrition part of it off and on. We were in the camper a lot, and it was really small. And I had kind of been doing it off and on. And then it was like I met her, and just a fire was lit under my butt. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And she went to Summit. I started following her on Facebook, and she went to Summit. And I was like, I'm going to do that. I want to be there. Zach, I have the opportunity to do this. And he goes, "That is a waste of money." And I was like, "Oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't." So what did I do again? I became a coach, and I put it on my credit card, which I have now paid off. I have paid off 4 credit cards since becoming a coach. But I was determined that I was going to do it. And he thought, and he still has some doubts, but I don't know if y'all can see that printer back there. This beast of a printer he bought me 3 weeks ago. And that was my I believe in you present, because I told him, I said, "This is my year. I will reach 5-star diamond by the time I go to Summit." I was like, and I'm going to make it happen. And today I signed my 4th coach of the week, I think. And I was telling him about it before he left, and he goes, "You're really going to do this?" And I was like, "I am bound and determined it's going to happen." I was like, "You want to retire and play golf professionally? We'll do it. I'll make it happen. You supported me for the last 7 years. It's the least I can do." But my journey through all of this has kind of been shared on Facebook, maybe shared too much. But I know what saved me. I know that one girl's post about changing her life by changing the way that she eats and doing a 30-minute workout. I was like, 30 minutes? I got 30 minutes all day. I can do that. But I started back to school after Reese was born. And so I was like, all I have to do is just do my homework and work out. I can do that. I can do that. Well, so I started doing that, and I started sharing about it. And before I became a coach, I was doing coach behaviors. I was sharing my progress pictures. I was sharing my foods. I was sharing inspirational things that got me going because I wanted to inspire someone like me. And I had no idea that's what coaching was. And I guess because I've seen so many MLM businesses that just do it the wrong way. I was turned off by the fact that, well, you can make money helping people. Oh, okay, right. Like, but it's not that we're doing anything. It's not that the products do anything for anyone. If you don't have the support to carry on, my 21-day fix videos would still be sitting in a DVD player dusty. Like, I would not touch them. And I didn't have an accountability group until I created my own. And I was telling Jennifer this the other day, or today actually, when we were talking about it. She was like, you just kind of went off and did your own thing. I was like, because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. I didn't know, that you were supposed to do things any differently. And so I just know what saved me. And so whenever I get caught up in the business side of this and just get overwhelmed by all of that, I go back to that essential thought. What pulled me out of the pit? What saved my marriage because it made me a happier person? What gave me purpose as a mom? What, made me wake up? What makes me wake up at 5:30 in the morning to put on workout clothes and sweat? Because Lord knows that's the last thing I want to do. And my biggest thing is being real. Like, I cannot stand people who try to project a perfect life. Like, that's not, no one can attain that. Nobody wants to follow that. They want to be around someone who's going to say, girls, this morning was rough, so I had to take a break, and I came back, and I did it during Reese's nap time, which is what I did today because I was too tired. They want someone that can make it to where it's, repeatable, I guess. I know that's not the right word. So that's how I started. And recently, I know some of y'all see this. I created a women's ministry group on Facebook called Women in Christ. And this is something I wanted to do for a long time. And I have a calling. I know that sounds strange. But I have a calling to work with people. It is like the most natural thing to me. Spiritually, I'm gifted as an encourager. It's not hard for me. Sending people emails makes me a little nervous, but it's like it gives me an opportunity to lift someone up, and that is where I thrive. When I have the opportunity to encourage people and to help them make something great out of a bad day, that is where I just absolutely thrive. And I could sit at my desk for 40 hours a week, and do that. It's nothing to me. And so this group started out as a challenge group because I was like, well, I'll run a free challenge group, and I wanted to mix it up. This was in December. I was thinking about this. I was like, well, what if I did something different? What if I made a free challenge group for maybe not fitness-inspired women, but women of a different kind of fitness that were fit for Christ? And so it was just going to lead into that. And I was like, it's only going to be a month. I created an event because I was following your direction. I was like, I'll just create an event, and I'll add people to it, and then they can add their friends, and it'll just be a good thing. And it turned into way more than that. And I realized that I was in over my head because 150 invites on my end has now turned into 960 plus women uniting on Facebook in their walk for Christ. And beyond that, we have created an Instagram account. We have created a like page. We have created 7 subgroups that have 3 leaders apiece. And we are creating t-shirts, like custom t-shirts for the group that we're going to sell to raise money for an outreach ministry for women in need. And it's just gone so much farther than I ever thought it would. But through that, it's another avenue to share kind of my testimony. And I tie it into Beachbody, and people were like, oh, you're just plugging your business. I was like, I wish I could plug my business. I was like, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm plugging in the way that, God kind of showed me where I was supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. And I know when I tell other people that I feel called to be a Beachbody coach, I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. They're like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, I'm really not kidding you. I wish that I was, but I'm really not. But since doing all of that, my business has now been incorporated. I am Fit Chick Evolution LLC because I had to do in order to sell the tank tops and to sell the t-shirts, I had to have a small business tax ID. And so today I just decided to do an LLC to protect my husband and to protect my business and to give me a little bit, I guess, more credibility. I don't know. I also just applied for a nutrition program to be a nutrition coach. Don't know if I'm going to get into that yet, but it's opened so many doors that I never expected for myself. And it really has gone so much farther than just being a coach. And I know that I'm not a diamond yet, but in my mind I am. And I got Zach's account to Emerald last week, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like that really happened. I really did that. I can do this, you know? And so much time I spend wondering if I'm really called to do this, and if I'm really, if I have what it takes to lead other people. And then I remember I have 3 coaches that have been with me since I started, and they had no idea what they're doing, and I feel like I'm a terrible leader, but they're like, you're just so inspiring, and we love you, and we're still with you, so that means something. I was like, I guess so. But that's a little bit about me.
Thank you so much. That was incredible. It's hard for me to sit here and watch you be so full of life and passionate and obviously called. I mean, you just said all of that straight from the heart. I don't see you looking at any notes or following some kind of outline. You're just
I didn't make notes.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to even imagine you being in a dark place or down or not this vibrant, full of life, excited, enthusiastic, beautiful, heartfelt mama. Like, I can't even picture you that way, which goes to show the transformation you must have gone through in just a few short months by getting access to other women who are in the trenches with you, doing a 30-minute workout, taking care of yourself nutritionally, and just acting on your calling. You know, that's what makes people happy. When you start acting on the call on your heart, that's happiness. And I'm super excited with what you're doing. If you guys aren't following Katie yet on social media, please go follow her. She will brighten your day. You'll get some great examples on what some amazing posts look like. She's leading with heart. She's doing this the right way by just being herself, being honest, being vulnerable, being real, sharing her journey. So, Katie, I can't thank you enough for talking to us and sharing these tips. And I have no doubt in my mind that you won't achieve every goal that you set your mind to. It's been so much fun watching you move so quickly. I mean, you just signed up in July.
And I feel like that's so long ago.
You're doing great. Trust me. Amazing, amazing, amazing work. So thank you so much. Any final tips for new coaches that are just getting started?
Just really focus on sharing your why and sharing your story. Don't focus on what other people are doing. Don't get overwhelmed with the Coach Online office, because, that's something you can learn. Just be open to trying new things. Be open to being a little bit more vulnerable, because that's always the scariest part. And just, do what you're comfortable with. I had one, I think Nicole was talking about this, but I literally had one coach yesterday, and I think she might have quit me. But she signed up yesterday. She was so excited. She messaged me, and she was just ready to go. And then I sent her my welcome email that just kind of walked her through, like, how to log in. I sent her a video, told her I was so excited for her. And she messaged me back not 30 minutes later, and she's like, I can't do it. I canceled my order. And I was like, what? And she was like, I just got so overwhelmed with the Coach Online office. Like, I said, all I asked you to do is create a login. Like, you don't have to look at any of that. I'll walk you through that. But she had like a major anxiety attack over it. And I was like, if you had just talked to me, I would just say, just breathe. Yep. It's your first day. Just breathe. And that's what I'll say to you as a new coach. Just breathe. Just, let people know what you're doing. Let people support you, because people will support you. And some of my coaches are struggling right now because the people that will support them will not support them. But it's a matter of getting in personal development, because that made the biggest change for me. And getting your mindset right to where no matter what happens, you're going to keep going. You're going to keep doing this, because this is what you were made to do, and you don't have a backup plan. And that's what I tell my girls. I don't have a backup plan. I'm not going into the corporate world unless things just get real tough. So we're going to make this happen. And sometime in 2 years, we're going to be on the beaches in Jamaica having our diamond retreat. Like so we're just moving forward. That's all we got.
Absolutely. That's awesome. You're such a visionary. I love that. I hope you guys are taking notes because Katie's going to be on the beach in Jamaica in 2 years. And if you want to be there with her, you better do what she's doing. Awesome job. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. That was incredible. And now we're off to Miss Crystal. I cannot wait to hear tips from Crystal. So Crystal Gaither is a coach under Brandy Trammell. She is killing it on social media. This girl catches my eye every day. She's got beautiful pictures and graphics. They're very eye-catching. I always stop scrolling when I see her pictures, and I'm like, dang, what is she doing now? And I read her posts, and I'm like, wow, like you can't teach somebody that. So I wanted her to be on the call tonight and teach us what she's doing. So Crystal, tell us a little bit about your story of how you became a coach and what you've been doing to be pretty dang consistent with Success Club, a rock solid diamond coach. You've got a pretty significant downline at this point. You recruit like a mad woman. I constantly see your name popping up in my coach online office. So tell us a little bit about how you got started, first of all, and really focus on, social media and how you've been able to be courageous and share your story.
Okay. All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Crystal, and I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, you're totally
Am I audible? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So years ago, for about 8 years, I was actually a professional recruiter and headhunter for a staffing agency. Part of my job was drawing the attention of businesses to my job ads. So I would get a job order in from a company that needed to hire. And so I needed to learn how to be attractive on monster.com and all of those ads. So I would have to write, job descriptions and try to attract candidates to match to those job descriptions. So for years as a profession that I was doing that. And then I got burnout, decided to be a stay-at-home mom, and did the stay-at-home mom thing for about 5 years. And now I work at a church. So about a year ago, I was at my rock bottom. I had been up to nearly 170 pounds, which was very uncomfortable for me. And Brandy Trammell and I had been friends for, I don't know. We met when I was a stay-at-home mom, so we had been friends for a few years. And I'd seen her go from, typical stay-at-home mom to like the most hot, fit mom I'd ever seen. And I was so jealous. I might have even pushed her out of my life for a little bit because I was so jealous. And I thought, she's going to probably try to drag me into this. And this is not for me. It might be great for her to take pictures of herself and post it every day. That's not me. I'm not that into myself. So
I love that. That's so
awesome. Do it. And I just eventually, who did I call? Whenever I hit my rock bottom, my friend who's consistent on social media every single day, reaching out. And so she was there for me when I was at my rock bottom. And I probably strung her along for about 6 months. I was like, hey, I think I'm interested, psych. I think I'm ready. I just can't afford it this month. Never mind. I did that a few times. And then, so she had to let it marinate a little bit. And then finally, I was a January person. I was like, okay, January hit. I'm ready to start the new year and see changes, and I'm not going to mess around. So January 2015, we did it. And I was like one of the other girls that said they didn't open the box. I bought the challenge pack for PIO actually while I was on a 21-day fix challenge group accidentally. But I just wanted the shakes. I didn't care what workout I got. So I started somewhat drinking the shakes, but I wasn't serious. And then I kind of saw my daughter doing the PIO workouts and realized, okay, so my 11-year-old can do this. And she was actually getting stronger and better. And so then I finally opened the box end of March after getting it in January. So So social media didn't really start for me until March, I guess, once I opened up my kit, started doing my workouts. Brandy actually calls me out of the blue and says, hey, so your friend called me and says she wants to be a coach. And at that point, I just wanted to do a discount coach. And so, I saw my friend had called her and she goes, I'll sign her up under me if you just want to do this as a discount. I don't, but if you want to do this, she could be signed up under you. And I was like, dang, I'm not going to let her take my friend. I want that, And then all of a sudden I find out that same week that my mom had bought 21 Day Fix from the TV, my own mom. And so I realized then that I immediately would be considered Emerald if I got serious. So my mom and my best friend kind of kicked my butt into gear in March. And so when I started pretty much as an Emerald, and it kicked me into figuring out what the heck it was that I was supposed to be doing. My feet were to the fire and I had no way of getting out of it. So I had to quickly figure out social media and copycat. I think that's one of the things that I was wanting to talk about was where I was I would get on Twitter and just scroll and find things that inspired me. I would go through you guys' posts and find just anything that inspired me. And if you go through my phone, you'll see I have snapshots of things that inspire me all through my picture section of my phone. I'm constantly finding something that inspires me and just snapshotting it. And so I feel like if I constantly am cataloging inspiration. I think that's, hang on a second. I have some notes over here.
I'm like writing down as you talk. I'm writing.
Are you? Because I feel like one of the points that I guess that I was going to make was to be inspiring, you have to be inspired. So you have to be filled in order to fill others. And so I feel like I'm constantly seeking to be inspired. And in order to do that, I'm finding it in my morning devotions, in my whenever I'm reading, I'm constantly hungry for inspiration. And
can I stop you for a second? Because I'm hearing a trend here, and I think it's a really powerful thing to pull out, and you may not even realize you said it. But I have this picture of you in my mind where, you talked about how in March, when you actually started doing PIO, you opened the box, you started doing it. That's when you started posting on social media about what you're doing. So, and then you talk about going into other places to find inspiration. And it sounds like to me what you're doing is you're taking your experience with fitness and nutrition and Shakeology, and you're just placing it out there in social media world. And then you're going for yourself and finding inspiration from wherever you can. And you're taking it from where you find it and you're putting it out there in social media world. And you're literally just seeking out what works for you and then turning around and passing it on, just like a baton in a race. Like, okay, I'm taking the baton, I'm passing it on, taking it. Yeah. Is that an adequate way of describing kind of what you're doing?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like another thing that I do is I don't know, I feel like my mind is constantly, the wheels are always turning. I'm always thinking social media. And I know you guys do this too. It's like every chance I get, I might have my kids in the car. I might be on the way to work in the morning and pull over at the post office and sit there for an hour because it's like, and I'm a very spiritual person. So I feel like God speaks to me and I feel like he gives me a word and I have to stop and I have to write it down because I genuinely, just like somebody else said, I think I look at this as a ministry. I work at a church and I adjust everything I do. I live and breathe ministry. And if it wasn't something to help someone else, I wouldn't be doing it. So I don't know. Another thing is I feel like you should post from where you are, where you're at that present moment, figure out how to be present and just share from that. If that makes any sense. I'm constantly kind of trying to self-reflect and ask the question, how does that show up in my life? And how does that translate over to Beachbody? How can that translate over into a post? Yeah.
That's awesome. So before you actually were being consistent with the workouts and with Shakeology, before you went full in with your own transformation, which, by the way, you guys should check out Crystal's transformation. It's insane. So go check out her Facebook, look through her pictures, because she doesn't even look like the same person from a year ago. So what role for you does being consistent with your own progress play and you feeling confident about sharing that journey? How's that connected for you?
Being consistent?
Yeah, like let me phrase it a different way. How important do you feel like it is for you to be consistent with your own workouts and your own nutrition and shakes and sharing that? Like, what's the power of you living out what you're preaching, basically?
Oh my goodness. I feel like it's kind of a catch-22 because you're sharing every single day. So again, your feet are to the fire. So you have people on your team. So I feel like, yeah, it's very important because you have to be practicing what you preach. And I don't know. I absolutely love exercise now, which is really funny because I hate to sweat and I've never been naturally athletic. So it's really ironic because I've never been that girl that's been into sports. I played maybe volleyball once in 8th grade, maybe tried basketball once. I was never the person picked for any team. So yeah, anyway, for me to be consistent with any of this, it's really funny because I'm not even a consistent person. I'm a flake. So
Me too.
I'm the first person that'll start and then stop anything. And my husband, again, like I don't think he thought I was serious. He thought, oh, that's really cute. You want to do this. And I don't know. It's a wonder that I'm doing this. But yeah, I think consistency is key for sure.
Yeah. It just struck me that you said that you didn't really do anything with the business from January to March last year. And you also said you weren't consistent with workouts either. And so for me, it looks like when you got serious, your daughter inspired you. You watched her getting stronger. And when you got serious about diving in, getting consistent with Shakeology and workouts, that's also when you got consistent with social media. And that's also when your mom and your best friend joined you.
Yeah.
And started to take off for you. So I just want our newer coaches to understand the power of do this for yourself, work on your transformation, be consistent with your workouts for yourself, drink your Shakeology, take care of your body, and then let your storytelling come out of that naturally. And that's where amazing things start to happen. Would you say that's been true for you?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And other thing I was going to say is that I've shared this with Brandy before. I try to constantly look at my social media, especially Instagram, and take a step back nearly every day. I take a step back and think, I look at my Instagram, especially editorially, as if it were a magazine. And so I look and I think, if I were buying a magazine, what would I like to see? What would visually inspire me? What would visually attract my eye? And so, I look at, and I also, as a friend and as a mom, I think about other people who do this, and I want to think like, so what would I like to see in your social media? If I know you're a parent, I'd like to see more of your kids. If I know you're married, I'd like to see more of you and your husband. If I know, so I try to think in several different angles and switch it up. So I look at my posts and I think, have I been too heavy on posting pictures of myself? People are going to start to think my life is out of balance. So I feel like if it looks out of balance, then maybe it is. And so I'm constantly trying to make sure my life is in balance with an alignment with who God's called me to be. And he's called me to be a mom and a wife first. And I work for my church, so that has to come next. And, with Beachbody and Shakeology and all of that, that has to be woven into my life, and it can't be my entire life or people will think I'm off kilter. So I feel like that's another thing that I have to try to do.
Absolutely. And that balance is so key. And the moment that any of us as coaches start making all of our social media about ourselves and about Beachbody is the very moment we'll turn everybody off. The reason they want to follow us is to understand how we're weaving this together with our marriage and our children and our families and our jobs and our hobbies and our leisure time, and just chaos and stress. That's what really helps us all be relatable and truly convey our story, because that's the truth, right? None of us have an extra hour in the day. We all only have 24. And for us to be able to show, like Crystal's describing, how that weaves together is the power of what we do. It's so different than the mascara companies or the wrap companies or, you know, the bath fizzy stuff. I've seen people posting about this posh stuff. I don't know. We're actually doing something that is our life. It's not something that's separate or just kind of this here nor there thing. This is life. You know, everybody needs to exercise for their heart and their lungs, right? That's undeniable. You don't have to wear mascara, right? It's fun. I wear it. I love it, but I don't have to. You know, eating to fuel your body so you can keep up with your kids and your full-time job and be a strong, beautiful, confident wife for your husband. That we have to do that, right? That's life. So this is just, I want everybody that's on to understand that, you know, we're kind of going long here on this call, but this is so incredibly valuable to hear all these different perspectives on everything. That coaching is not about selling challenge packs. Being a coach is about living your best life and showing people what that looks like so they can do it too. And that's what Crystal's doing. That's exactly what you just described, Crystal, about showing the balance of putting God first, putting your family at the top of your priority list, honoring God with the ministry you're called to do in your church, and then weaving Beachbody through that. It's the most beautiful thing that I've heard said on the whole call, because that's how you keep from getting overwhelmed. That's how you keep from focusing on the wrong things. And all the other girls touched on all of this too. You know, like Kayla said, stop focusing on all the details and the numbers and just think about who you'd want to fill your house with. You know, that's at the heart of what we're doing here. So amazing job on social media. Any tips for anybody that's just getting started on certain apps that you're using to create these awesome graphics or capturing a great picture? You have really cool angles on all your pictures. Like, they're just so captivating to me. So tell us a little bit about that right quick.
That's so funny that you say that. Okay, so I have a series of different apps that I use, and sometimes I'll use several apps together at the same time. If you haven't already perfected your selfie, I like morning light the best. I honestly think my makeup's fresher. So I don't know. My favorite is a morning selfie with a fresh face of makeup. If I'm going for that pretty look, if you're not going for sweaty look, obviously, but I think, you know, in the angle up, you know, put the camera up a little bit. As far as apps go, I don't know. I have different things that I use. I just recently got PhotoFi. I think we all probably use the same stuff. Got PhotoFi recently. What else do I have? Aviary, Font Candy. I have InstaSize, so you can actually take your photo, put it in InstaSize, and it can make it smaller and shrink it down.
Oh, cool.
And I also have Retrica, which my kids say is outdated.
I've never even heard of that.
Which one?
The last one?
Retrica. Retrica.
Okay.
It has just all these different colors that make your skin look different.
Cool. Okay. See, there's a couple of those I hadn't even heard of. Aviary and InstaSize.
Aviary is good because you can, you can blur things out and all that. Every once in a while, if I get a close up and you can see all my wrinkles, it's not pretty, so I blur that out.
That's awesome.
So I'm not a skincare person, so I guess it's okay.
I think so. Any last tips for a new coach?
I guess you covered it. I just say be consistent, even if you don't feel it, because you're going to go through days, weeks, even months where you hit lulls and you think, I called Brandy just this week about my social media. And I'm like, I feel like I'm running on fumes. I feel like I have nothing more to offer. And sometimes you think, eventually, if I've done this for a year, how much more can you really say about, losing weight and fitness and drinking a shake? Like, it eventually starts to seem like the same broken record. Like, how do you keep it fresh? So I think try keeping it fresh and try being consistent, and don't allow yourself to get into a lull and stop. It just be honest with where you are, and, just share that when you're not feeling it. Share that. People like to hear when you're not feeling it, because it's not all about being perfect and pretty and getting your workout in. Sometimes we don't get our workout in, and we miss it. So
Absolutely. Awesome stuff tonight. I can't, this is going to be one for the record books. I know we went long, but I hope it was worth it for you guys. Thanks for those who stayed on. I'll have the recording available for the team page shortly. I'll probably post it in the morning, so be on the lookout for that. Share it with your coaches. Thank you to everybody that spoke tonight. You guys did an amazing job, and I really appreciate you putting yourself out there and getting past your fears, speaking on this call and sharing with us. So thanks for being on, everybody, and good night.